If you don't remember this movie, then I don't blame you. Beast is a 2022 action comedy directed by Nelson Dilip Kumar about an angry former agent of the Research and Analysis Wing who finds himself trapped in a shopping mall full of terrorists. This Indian film was met with mixed reviews but was overall a commercial success, which is strange considering that it seemed to actually be about a widowed doctor visiting Africa with his two daughters before getting attacked by a rogue lion. There wasn't even a shopping mall. Talk about false advertising. I've wanted to watch this movie since I saw the trailer, because I just knew that this film was going to be deliciously stupid, and I would say that it definitely delivered on that expectation. However, getting to the chewy, nougaty center that is the final battle between Idris and the lion was very painful. If I were watching this unironically, I don't think I would have made it. First off, let's talk about some technical aspects. What the fuck is this lighting? All I can see is the grass. How is this even possible? How did you illuminate the grass while keeping the characters in pitch black darkness? It's like watching a shadow puppet show. Look y'all, it's a bird. The lighting is much less of a problem in the daytime, which is thankfully the setting for most of the film, but when it's supposedly nighttime, it looks like you're trying to figure out whether or not it's really a pile of laundry over there. For as terrible as this movie is, it's actually groundbreaking. It's a modern movie where I can hear what the characters are saying without needing to turn on the subtitles. You can especially tell that there was good audio engineering because the DVD doesn't feel the need to specify that the subtitles are for the hard of hearing, unlike DVDs of movies that don't have good sound design. Darling, you can't hear me because you're fucking deaf. Honey, I can't hear you because you can't fucking edit. The sound design of this movie is actually pretty solid. Nothing sounded weird or out of place. The licensed music in this movie fucking slaps. It makes you forget that you're about to watch nearly 2 hours of Idris Elba bickering with his kids. Then the actual score comes in and it's just meh. It sounds like something you would find for free on Purple Planet. One thing I notice about the music is that a lot of the time the musical cues are just wrong. The biggest example is when character Martin, who is essentially the Alan Grant of the movie, is hugging a couple of good guy lions and the music sounds like this.
I'll see you there. Easy.
It sounds like something is going to go wrong here, but nothing goes wrong, so it's really jarring. Behind the scenes, a ton of work went into the special effects. Not just the CG, but the practical effects, like the blood and the sets.
We actually drilled down deep into the earth, into the water table, and pumped water up and created our own watering hole.
However, the camera work is so bad that you get to see practically none of it. One of the most infuriating moments in the film is when they come across a village that's been attacked by the lion. Martin invites Elba and the kids to a friendly village full of people, but when they get there, no one is around. There's a hut that's supposedly full of dead people, but you don't really get to see it because the camera guy simply refuses to look at it. And when they finally do decide to take a peep at what the special effects team worked on for hours probably, the scene is over and it's time for the characters to go elsewhere. This is because every scene is in one take, which is a long continuous shot. It takes a lot of coordination and skill to pull off effectively because it essentially turns the movie into a play either for a short while or for the entire runtime. You can't just swing the camera around trying desperately to keep up with the actors and call it good. But that's what director Baltasar Kormakur did. Although with all that being said, I don't even think doing every scene in one take was the full intention. When directors shoot their films in one take on purpose, they talk endlessly about it. But when Kormakur talks about Beast, he doesn't mention it at all. I think what happened was that Kormakur had a fancy camera to work with and used it like a baby with a new toy. This is evident because a lot, if not all the camera work, mirrors the camera work of a slime tutorial, which is to say that it's as sloppy as a person with a phone camera illegally recording a Broadway show they've never seen before. Whoops, there's something happening over there now, better refocus. Oops, now there are things happening on both sides of the stage, what do I do? Or, if that's too hyper-specific of an example, think about the shaky, unfocused camera work of someone filming a random event unfolding in real time. Like, there are so many shots of the actors looking away that they had ought to have credited Idris Elba's back as an actor. So what about the little kitties? Do they look good? You see, I really want to say they look fantastic, but they look like stuffed animals to me. Yes, they look realistic, they look like they're there, but they don't look like living, breathing creatures to me. They bump into Sharto Copley, and they're really stiff, like bumper cars. Martin's hands clip through their manes, he touches their faces and they don't react to it. They would have been better off just using puppets. And when it comes to the Lion of the Hour, don't even get me started. He never looks real, not even puppet real. He looks like a zany cartoon character, and that's basically what he is. What's worse is how he looks whenever he's attacking the car that the characters are in for the majority of the movie. It reminds me of those Universal rides that are just looking at a screen in a cart. Maybe they were hoping Beast would be popular enough to make a ride out of it, but it didn't even make $100 million at the box office, so that didn't happen. Even if it was unintentional, the lion attacks didn't have the tension and excitement I wanted them to have, and I think it's because of Idris Elba. The lion is going absolutely batshit, and Elba just doesn't match his energy. He seems mildly inconvenienced rather than fighting for his life. Look at this little shuffle he does under the car. He should be crawling under there, but he just shimmies like he's dodging a Roomba. He's like this during the final battle, too. It's like he's being tackled by his kid and not by a 400-pound killing machine. I mean, maybe if it was a little bit more like The Revenant, I would believe in the lion a little bit more. And I know this because the bear in The Revenant looks twice as fake. But it's so much more effective than Beast because Leonardo DiCaprio actually looks like he's in peril. My least favorite line in this movie is,
I have a rainbow of emotions at my disposal, Mayor.
no, you don't. These aren't really characters as much as they're character descriptions that walk around and say words. This is Dr. Dad. This is Angry Teenager. This is Baby. And this is Robert Muldoon. Other than this one time they each compare themselves to McDonald's sandwiches, the only thing they ever talk about is the fact that the mom of this family passed away due to cancer. But the strange thing about it is that they don't talk about her in detail. They don't talk about what she was like, or her life in Africa, or how her upbringing affected her family's day-to-day lives, as it definitely would affect their day-to-day lives. I'm not saying that I know someone whose parents are from Africa or anything like that. She's just the dead woman, and as someone who has a deceased mother, I think it's disrespectful. People don't talk about dead people this way, as a large range of all kinds of emotions. A rainbow of emotions, if you will. You feel happy to have known them, you feel sad that they're gone, you feel angry that you didn't spend more time with them, you feel guilty about the things you could have done, you feel anxious about when it will happen to you. It's a roller coaster. But the only part of it they acknowledge is the indisputable fact that she is indeed dead. Now, I understand that not everyone, hell, most people my age, have not experienced their parents dying, but even without the first-hand experience of losing a parent, or both parents, it's still annoying. It's some Oliver Twist bullshit that's in every modern movie that doesn't have compelling characters to watch. Why should you care about this family? Because they each have wacky personalities that bounce off one another and make for a great time? No! Because something unimaginably tragic happened to them. Now you have to watch them, because if you don't, you'll look like a heartless bastard in front of all of your friends. Have fun watching nothing. Angry Teenager, aka Mayor, is really angry at Dr. Dad, also known as Dr. Nate Samuels, about something. What that something is, you have one chance to understand, and it's in this scene where she upsets everyone for no reason. Dr. Dad is talking about some random story of some kind. We don't really know what he's talking about because the scene starts in the middle of it, and he notices that Angry Teenager is angry. He asks her what's up, and she responds with this bullshit.
My problem is that in the last 10 minutes, Martin just showed more interest in my photography than you have in the last year.
What?
Which is the same amount of time that you showed our mother in the last year of her life. Mayor, she got sick. You missed it because you had already left us.
No.
This happens so fast in the movie that it's hard to gauge what she's even talking about. All I heard the first time around was, "We guess is a better dad than you, and mom died, so fuck you twice." But upon listening very carefully, watching it over and over again, decoding every word and tuning in my inner MatPat, I hear that she's upset because after Dr. Dad and Dead Mom got divorced, Dead Mom got sick. She said that Dr. Dad missed the last year of Dead Mom's life because he had already left. So she's upset about the timing? as if Dr. Dad had any control over that. It's not like Dr. Dad had a vision that their mom was going to die of cancer and decided to hit up a courthouse real quick. They got a divorce, and dead mom just so happened to have gotten sick right after. That wasn't his fault. Shit happens. You would think someone her age, whatever it's supposed to be, hopefully older than 12, would understand that. I honestly don't understand what she's mad about. I guess she's mad that they got a divorce at all, because when they did, Dr. Dad was no longer present in their lives. But he couldn't have been gone for that long, because there's dialogue implying that he was around the entire time she was sick. So what is she actually on about? Especially because the reason why she's thinking about this is because her uncle was more interested in her photography than Dr. Dad has been in the past year, but I guess the year she's referring to is the same year as when the mom was sick? Duh, of course he hasn't been interested in your fucking pictures. His wife died, or was dying. Perhaps your father was doing this weird thing called grieving and not being purposefully malicious. I could see maybe if Dr. Dad was dismissive before the divorce and the cancer diagnosis, but from what I can tell, Dr. Dad is a perfectly serviceable parent. The one who should be acting like this, Nora, the baby, seems to like him just fine. Deleted scenes don't normally count in movies, but I'm bringing this up because it gives us insight on what the writers intended with this character. Nora runs off after Mare shows her ass in front of everyone, so she chases after her. In the final cut, we don't see the girls talk to each other, but in a deleted scene, Nora basically says that she likes Dr. Dad perfectly fine, an angry teenager needs to shut the hell up. This viewpoint is supported by the fact that Mare does this shit again later on in the film, and Nora responds by telling her to shut the hell up.
And she assured me that our mother was gonna be okay, because you promised.
Mary, you just shut the hell up for one goddamn second, please.
Right.
So, Dr. Dad is not a bad Dr. Dad. The writers just needed some kind of family conflict for the characters to overcome, and this was the best they can do. It's like they didn't want to take any risks, so they didn't give Dr. Dad any character flaws. He's intelligent, he has a good job, he cares about his family, he always knows what to do at any given moment, and he wins a fight against a fucking lion. There's nothing to root for because Nate already has everything together. He doesn't even have much of a conflict with Mare. He just has a little chat with her that lasts less than 5 minutes, and everything is fine. She doesn't even fight back or anything. She's just like, okay. And then there's Banji. Martin shows the family a couple of good guy lions that have back legs shorter than their front legs because they're reference from humans crouching in costumes. Martin gives them cuddles, but Idris Elba and his daughters want nothing to do with them. And I want you to keep in mind that Idris Elba and his daughters want nothing to do with them. Banji is a guy who has a tranquilizer gun, and he shows Mare how to put one together. Not that we see this happen. Mare just tells us that this totally happened when it's time for the reincorporation. The crazy thing about this is that Mare and Banji clearly have chemistry, and it makes you think they're going to have a relationship later that would maybe cause some tension. But this is one of 2 times we ever see Banji using the word see all willy-nilly. The only point to Banji is that he teaches Mare something useful. Off screen. The best character in this movie is Martin, whose last name is hilariously Battles. He isn't phenomenal or anything, he's just better in comparison to everyone else. He has a personality. He's an easygoing cat dad, and if anyone has a rainbow of emotions at their disposal, it's him. The way he talks about dead mom is so compelling and feels real. He gets angry, he gets emotional, he gets confused, and when it's time for Shartel Copley to act like he's getting surgery without anesthesia, he knocks it out the ballpark. Unlike Ayanna Haley, who's just like, "Ow, that hurt." Well, then again, I guess she's supposed to be strong, like her mother, which is a comment that pisses me off to no end of this movie. Sorry to switch back to Mare, but every time she crashes out, everyone is like, yup, just like her mom. So that means the only thing there is to know about this important, off-screen, off-life character is that she was a stereotypical mad black woman. Nora is a baby. That's her entire character. Everyone speaks for her or over her, or worries that she's not being supervised. There is nothing to note about her except for her gorgeous afro. Let's get into the main events of the story. Somewhere in South Africa, poachers are running rampant in the area, killing entire prides. One of the prides they targeted left one surviving lion on the prowl. Hungry for vengeance, this lion goes around killing every human it sees. As this is happening, the Samuels family takes a trip to South Africa, hoping to heal from the loss of their practically nameless mother who died from completely nameless cancer. This film really wants to be Jurassic Park. There's lines like, "We're in his territory now," and themes like human interference disrupting the natural order. But the issue is that most of this movie takes place in a broken down vehicle. It's like the Jeep scene in Jurassic Park, but if it took up the majority of the runtime. And as I said before, it looks like a Universal Studios ride, which is not a compliment. Universal Studios rides look terrible. They're here because after they flee the village, they come across an injured man that they want to help, but the lion is still on the loose, so their friend Martin goes hunting for it. No duh, he gets injured and Nate goes to find him, but whoopsie, there's a lion there. Nate hops back into the Jeep and Mare takes the wheel, but since there's a giant fucking cat on the car, they crash into a tree. Luckily for them, though, there's a tranquilizer gun in the car, and Banshee taught Mare how to assemble it. Off screen. The lion attacks for a second time in the same location as they try to shoot it. They shoot it. They retrieve Martin and they perform live surgery on his injuries. They can't drive the car and they can't get a signal for help even though they're parked in front of a cell tower. So we're literally stuck in this thing until the literal hour mark.
Just out of curiosity, babe.
Okay.
You said they shot the lion with a tranquilizer dart?
Uh-huh.
Was the lion tranquilized nearby?
He kind of just stumbles away after he gets shot.
Hear me out on this. Why wouldn't you follow the lion to where it falls asleep and cut its head off?
I don't know. He didn't, like, fully go to sleep or something. I don't know. We're stuck in this stinking car for 30 minutes. Now, being stuck in a single location for long periods of time isn't the issue. There are plenty of movies that pull this off effectively. It's just that after those 2 lion attacks, they just sit there. Martin is fine, the girls are fine, Nate got scratched in the leg, but he's fine. The conflict just stops. At one point, they mention needing to share 1 bottle of water between 4 people, but there aren't any consequences to this. The kids bitch about it for a bit, and then it never comes up again. Like, imagine if it was really hot or something, and everyone was sweating and really thirsty, but they need to make this 1 bottle of water last for as long as possible. That would have been something. And I'm not saying I can't be entertained by a quiet moment, it's just that this movie's quiet moment is this awful dream sequence where Nate sees his daughters get killed by a lion, and he's just like, oh. And then he goes back to dreaming comfortably about his wife caressing his arm. If I had seen that in a dream, I would have woken up, but Nate is just like,
what a twist!
I mean, it's kind of neat how the dream unfolds into different sections, like real dreams. Like, he first wakes up from a dream, but it turns out he's still dreaming, but I can't get over the underreaction of Nate's daughters getting brutally murdered by a lion. They finally get out of this stupid truck when they get a random signal on their radio. It turns out to be a band of poachers, coincidentally the same poachers that caused all this in the first place. Something I forgot to mention is that Nora constantly brings up that she read about the anti-poachers online, except that the only thing we get to learn that she learned is that the anti-poachers kill poachers. We don't get any more information about them because every time Nora tries to talk about it, Mare has a fucking panic attack.
I mean, I've read about the anti-poachers online, and they said that...
And we never learn why she's so offended about it. She's just a bitch. So when they try to catch a ride with the poachers, they get into trouble because, surprise, surprise, Martin is the anti-poacher. But before things really start to get out of control, the velociraptor, I mean the lion, shows up. This gets the poachers to scatter like roaches, but the work isn't over yet. Nate needs to get a set of keys so he can steal a vehicle.
Dad, you don't know how to hotwire a car?
No, I do not know how to hotwire a car into medical school.
This sequence is almost better than the final boss fight. So much is at stake. If Nate doesn't get the keys, they're either going to be stranded in the middle of nowhere again, or taken away by poachers. But to do that, he not only has to take his chances with a hostile poacher, he also has to be wary of the lion running around and killing everyone. It's taking place in pitch black darkness, and Elba ends up hiding from the lion in a tree inside a fucking water hole. And there's a snake in the tree because fuck you. And then to top it all off, the lion goes back to that smelly old Jeep, knocks it over the cliff after the girls escape, and it fucking explodes. If only the entire movie was this fun and amazing. But no, most of the movie is this shit.
Where's Mare? No, Mare. Mare.
Although, speaking of Mare, it turns out that she got a boo-boo while fighting the lion. It really adds to the tension because you cross your fingers, really hoping that she dies. They stop at another thingy I forgot to mention because it's basically South African fan service, and the lion comes back for more.
How did he find us here, Dad?
You are asking the wrong question. So instead of doing something reasonable like sneaking back to the car at the right time, wait a minute, don't they have a tranquilizer gun? Idris Elba decides that the lion is very annoying and it would be nice if it just wasn't there anymore, so he just runs off to go kill it like it's a mosquito or something. He gets a little baby knife and challenges it to a duel.
Would you like to meet me in a fair fight, Mr. Sport? All things being equal, man to man, Marquis of Queensberry rules. Huh? That's different, eh? Yeah, that's something else again. Yeah, you don't like that, do you, sportsman? No. You don't like it. You like it.
The fight goes about as well as you would expect it to go. Nate gets his ass annihilated, not that he acts like it. He gets a few good whacks at him, but he basically loses the fight, and he loses so bad that Kimba and Simba have to finish it for him. I don't know what he was expecting. He also looks up because Banji and the rest of his team show up. Off screen. Now, for me, this makes no sense because, like I said before, Idris Elba and his daughters wanted nothing to do with these lions. There was no reason for them to get all defensive for his sake. I mean, maybe you can argue that it was just a foreign lion that they saw, so they went batshit, but why are they only just now attacking instead of when he first showed up? And now, for some honorable nitpicks! The main theme of this film is family. Fight for family, says the poster, but that's not all there is to the story. There's also the theme of anti-poaching that is not developed at all. Like I said before, when Nora brings it up, she gets cut off. Banji doesn't even want to say the word poacher. Like, come on, guys, do you want to discuss this subject or not? Imagine if Ian Malcolm was like, and before you even knew what you had, oh, fuck it. You would think that people who shoot things for a living would be able to, shoot things. But I guess not. I swear, the director doesn't want you to see anything. So many things happen off screen. Martin getting attacked by the lion? Off screen. This guy dying? Off screen. Learning how to assemble a gun? Off screen. Mary's interested in photography, but it doesn't have much significance in the film. Like, I remember in Jurassic Park, Lex's computer abilities were very poorly established, but it mattered that she had computer skills in the end. Mary's photography means nothing. It's just yet another thing for her to bitch about. Her name is Amali, and you get one chance in the entire movie to know that. One. It's during that terrible dream sequence I mentioned, and he says it so quietly that he could honestly be saying anything.
Machle. 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 Machle.
I just love how everyone in the village is dead on arrival, and Martin tries his best to develop them real quick so we can feel bad for them. He's like, oh, the people were great, and it was full of children. This movie is a pain in the ass. It has fun moments in it, but to get to them, you have to listen to the characters cry about death and divorce, which is boring and or depressing to sit through, and honestly, it clashes with the main story. The heavy-handed dialogue tells us that the lion is meant to represent the conflict that the family is going through, but it doesn't really translate that way. What does the lion blowing up represent? The problem is that the two storylines don't connect to each other. The story of what the family is going through isn't resolved through their interaction with the lion. When Mare and Nate talk to each other, it has nothing to do with the lion. Idris Elba just decides that Mare's attitude is very annoying and it would be nice if it wasn't there anymore, so he kills it like it's a mosquito or something. And he could have done that at any point. He could have done it in this scene. Or this one. It could have been at the beginning of the movie. The lion has no impact on the characters' journeys. Once again, let us take a look at Jurassic Park. At the beginning of Jurassic Park, Alan Grant wants nothing to do with children, which is a problem because he's in a relationship with Ellie Sattler, who loves children and clearly wants to have them. It is through the main storyline that Alan learns to love and protect children. Without this experience, Alan never would have changed. But in Beast, the lion wasn't necessary for Mare and her dad to make up with each other. It could have happened at any moment. The characters are annoying, the lighting is atrocious, the theming is all over the place, the special effects are ruined by awful camera work and piss poor acting. It's no wonder this movie made so little money. It is a mess, and I am so glad to be done watching it. If only I knew what to do with the DVD copy I fished out of the $5 bin. If you have any ideas as to what I should do with it, leave a comment. If you like this video, consider subscribing. I'm on a roll with videos lately. If you really like me, you can grab a can of W Energy for 20% off using my promo code RHODENT. Stay as feral as a rogue lion.